My friends, welcome to part 3 of the Chris Chan and Alec Benson Leary phone calls, and where we last left off, Chris was explaining to Alec that, the Virginia Library of Congress allows me to do Sonichu, they've told me that it's all good and that all my shit is, all by the book, all copyrights, all good, and Alec brings up to Chris, how can the Virginia Library of Congress just tell Nintendo, yeah, give up your characters? And Chris he doesn't really understand this, he just wants to take it all back now and say, you know what? Let's just forget about that. And that's mostly because Chris doesn't really have the mental capacity to go down that road with that conversation. Now, what Chris does want to talk about is the fact that, even though he doesn't own that, copyright, he's still going to try to sue Alec for, trying to infringe on his copyright that it doesn't really make sense that he has in the first place. So that's where we're about to jump into right now. Making these are really fun because it really gives you some insight into what Chris thought at the time and probably still thinks now when it comes to Sonichu. But it's also a good insight in what Chris would actually do in, a business setting when talking about this shit, because he has no idea what he's talking about. So let's just jump right back into it and have some fun.
Okay, look, let's just agree to, this is what we're talking about right now. It just seems pointless to what we were originally talking about. Let's just agree that...
Well, I don't think it's pointless. I mean, I'm just trying to establish that... I mean, you said you could sue me. I mean, I don't want to let that, just let that go. I mean, I don't want to get sued. Nobody wants to get sued. But
yeah,
I just don't understand how you could sue me. That's what I'm confused on. I mean, you're confusing me, Chris. I mean, call me naive, but I just don't get exactly what you're getting at.
I'm trying to prevent from having to go into the legal issues as well, so...
Well, I appreciate that, but I just don't understand how you have a legal ground to sue me. I mean, because...
See, even though Alec has already explained to Chris that it wouldn't really make sense for him to be able to sue him because he wouldn't own the rights to them characters, when pressed on it, Chris still says things like, I'm trying to not sue you, so I'm trying to work this out. Like, he doesn't understand that he doesn't have a foot to stand on here, but Chris still wants to see himself as in control of the situation, as he always does. So that's why he's trying to tell Alec, he doesn't want to have to sue him, but you act like Chris would fucking know how to sue somebody anyway. Probably just walk to the courthouse, show him this fucking computer, be like, look, this guy, the Asperchew guy, let's sue him for millions. I want millions out of him. And that's probably Chris's idea of, how to sue somebody. They're gonna be like, oh, shit, you're right, Chris. Let's get this guy on the phone and get him down here ASAP.
Pokemon.
Because I do hold the copyright to Sonichu.
But Sonichu's a Pokemon.
Look, let's just rewind.
This conversation is literally just a circle going around and around, because again now Chris is trying to say, look, let's go back and not talk about this again, because Alec once again presses the issue that you are claiming to own the rights to Sonichu, however, in the same breath you are saying that Sonichu is a Pokemon. How can you own the rights to a Pokemon? And Chris is just, he doesn't want to have to explain himself because he knows there's no way to explain it, so he's just like, alright, well, let's just forget about this, and let's just talk about all the demands I have and all the things you're going to do for me.
And let's just rewind and go back to what we agreed on before. About readjusting the advertisement size and giving the possible Wikipedia ad on the Asperpedia, and just let the Sonichu in your book and be known as Michael Sonichu. And the other Sonichus and Roshichus that of the non-KI combo.
Okay.
Let's just rename them by the names I suggested in my book. In your book.
You see, once again, it's really like we're just going in circles here. In the last parts, we talked about this and how Chris had told Alec that, all your characters, let's just change their names to the names I want them to be. And they're like, Chris gets to have Sonichu and Rosechu and Punchy Sonichu and Wild Sonichu. And Alec gets to have Michael and Bobby and all these other like just random names. And again here, Chris doesn't realize that he's trying to tell Alec, all right, let's just go back and you're gonna change all this shit and you're gonna take the ads off my website. But he doesn't realize that he has no leverage to ask that now because he physically can't sue this guy. Like Alec is telling you, yeah, you can't sue me because you don't own the rights to this. But Chris is trying to be like, all right, well, let's just forget about all that and let's just I want to give you all my demands again, even though I have nothing I can threaten you with and I have no ground to stand on here. Still, do everything I want. And the second Alec asks something of Chris just stress sighs about it and just feels like he just got shot, you know? It sounds like he's just so deflated, you know? And as I brought up earlier in the little, like, text bar, Chris is visibly out of breath here because he's so taken aback by this conversation. He doesn't know what to say. He doesn't know what to do. He just wants to say shit and just have it stick and have the other person agree with him. And he doesn't want to have to, make any compromises. He just wants what he wants and fuck what anyone else wants. Fuck what you want, fuck what everyone else wants. Only matters what Chris wants.
Well, all right. Like I said, I'll talk to Mal about the ads. As far as the renaming goes, if you're, I guess you can include, you can make up some characters, Mike Sonichu and Mitch Sonichu and whatever. That's your comic book. If you want to create those characters, that's fine. Like I said, I'm not going to rename my characters. And now that you bring this back to the table, another thing that kind of vexed me in your comic was that you as a Colossal Chan was it Colossal Chan or Colossal Chew? I don't recall. I don't have your comic.
Because Colossal Chris Chan.
Colossal Chris.
That'll be me. That'll be me in my super form after using the 7 chaotic crystals, or the Sanchi ball crystals, as they are also known as.
Okay.
It will truly never it'll never get to me just how lame of an idea Chris Chan, Sonichu, Colossal Chris Chan. Just how fucking lame that is to add to your book. It would be like Jurassic Park if fucking there was Super Spielberg, like a giant dinosaur. Whoa, it's Spielberg the dinosaur. And the way he even says it is yeah, that's Colossal Chris Chan. He's so serious about it. And it's just, someone brought it up in my comments last week. I wish I could find it and give you the credit. It's all Chris Chan Sonichu is Sonic. Chris has always been obsessed with Sonic, and even has Sonic himself in Chris's comic. But when Chris turns into a Sonichu, it's literally just Sonic the Hedgehog. He has the same type of color, the same arms, everything. It's because Chris just wants to be Sonic, In his world, he basically made himself Sonic, the coolest thing he could imagine. So it just shows you how much fucking ego he has. Because in his world, he's the coolest thing ever. He's the end-all, be-all. And but to anyone else, it just sounds so fucking lame. That's the one thing I'll always... See, I've never read Sonichu, and a lot of you guys have asked me before to read it. But once I get to the part where Chris Chan Sonichu shows up, I'm not going to be able to contain myself from just shitting all over it, because it's just dude, it's just classic Chris because he wants to be the center of attention, but that's just the lamest thing. It's the lamest thing.
So Colossal Chris Chan and Sonichu he was in his Ultra form, I think. You two came to well, first of all, you saw the drawing of Asperchu's house and you mistook that as my house. Just to clarify, that's not my house. I made up that house out of nothing. That's just that came out of nowhere. I just decided, hey, a big, dull-looking, messy house, that'd be funny as Asperchu's home.
Now, with Asperchu being a parody of Chris's life, I assume the house in question that Alec is talking about is just his rendition of Chris's house. Big, dull, messy house. Chris obviously wasn't bright enough to pick up on that, but it's just funny how all throughout this call, everything that is in Asperchu just relates right back to Chris.
But anyway, you thought it was my house, and you came to what you thought was my house, and you broke into my house, and... After breaking and entering, which is a crime, by the way, you proceeded to hack into my computer, and I think you deleted the entire Asperpedia website, and then you deleted all my files of Asperchu comics and everything else, and then I think you stole some like dating program or something that you thought was on my. I mean, this is a multitude of crimes, Chris. It shows criminal intent.
So what they're talking about here, and like I said, I put the little like disclaimer on the screen that this all happened in the comic books, because if anyone's watching this who's not informed on the situation, they could think, holy shit, Chris broke into this dude's fucking house. Like, but no, what they're referring to is Chris drew this fucking comic pages. And I don't know if it was in a Sonichu book. I don't know where it was, but it's what Chris does in most situations. You know, when he can't do anything about it, which is almost like every situation he's ever been in, he'll draw it out, what he wants to happen, and then act like it did happen. So what he did in this situation is he drew himself and Sonichu breaking into Alec's house, or Asperchu's house, and they took all the files that Alec had for his website and they deleted it. Because they're the heroes, ladies and gentlemen, breaking and entering and doing all this shit, because it's what Chris wanted to do in real life. He sits there, he's angry, he's stomping his feet. What he wants to do is be able to just have someone go into that guy's house, delete all the shit so Chris can be happy. But also at the same time, there was a little like clip at the end there that Chris drew where for some reason Alec has like a dating simulator game that must have been out at the time for the Xbox that was only available for the Xbox, and Chris at the time, as we all know, fucking despised the Xbox. So what Chris does is he takes this like dating game and he says, I'll reformat this for the PlayStation later on. I don't even know how that's possible. Like, he'll just take an Xbox exclusive game and just switch it to be cool on the PlayStation. But, you know, Chris has these omnipotent powers. He's a fucking god. I mean, he's a god now. Back then, he didn't call himself God, but to be fair, with all the powers and all the shit Chris Chan Sonichu could do, he's pretty much a fucking god, because that's the way Chris always saw himself. Now he's just being outright with it while he's in his jail cell talking about it. But back around this time, you know, it was just, Chris was really willing to write and do anything that he could to try to prove a point to people, because he thought once he drew it, it became reality. This kind of makes me think of that one time where Chris had a picture of himself. He drew a picture of himself having like a four-way with like 3 women, and one of them, like, I don't remember what the exact quote was, but he used this to be like, look, I'm straight, I'm having sex with 3 women, look, and he shows his picture, and it's just a drawing of him with 3 women, but to him, that proves his masculinity, that proves his straightness, because if he was gay, he would draw himself with dudes, so this has to be the truth, you know? It's just how Chris's mind worked then, and it's how it works now still.
I mean, why did you do that stuff? That's, you know, those are illegal acts.
There are going to be so many stress sides in this call because Chris he's always caught in these conundrums.
You know, I mean, it's not a nice thing to do.
Yeah, well, it wasn't very nice taking the Sonichu that was originally from Quickville and then claiming him to be Asperchu's brother.
Chris, I didn't show Asperchu breaking into Sonichu's house and destroying, you know, valuable documents on his computer. I mean, this comic is going to be, you know, my lifeblood. This is my franchise. This is my multimedia empire I'm trying to build here, and you just destroyed it on a whim. I mean, why did you do that even? Like, I just don't get that. Asperchu has been nice to Sonichu since they met. I mean, they've been friends, and they've treated each other like brothers, and they've fought battles side by side.
So Chris is now trying to justify himself doing this, saying that, you know, well, the reason I drew myself breaking into your house and destroying all your shit is because you took the Sonichu from Quickville and made him brothers with your Asperchu. To Chris, this is a mortal fucking sin, ladies and gentlemen, because if you make Sonichu look anything other than what Chris wants him to look like, which is all perfect and like everything, that's bullshit to Chris. You know, because Asperchu has like these gay undertones and they hug each other and all, Chris just doesn't want Sonichu anywhere near there because he fucking hates that shit. But Alec is bringing up, you know, Chris, was this really worth it? Like, you're destroying my empire, what I'm trying to make my lifeblood. I like the way Alec pretends like this is like Asperchu's about to be his everything, like Sonichu is Chris's everything. And when he brings that up to Chris just has nothing to say in response other than a bleak stress sigh like always.
I mean, haven't you ever had a website hack before? I have. It sucks. You know, do you know what it feels like to have your video, your computer hacked?
Actually, I have. and it was not very nice.
Why did you do it to me?
I had mine, the original Sonichu site, which was CWC's Sonichu site simply, when it was originally on the Tripod web server, hacked into by one Clyde Cash.
Well, then how much it sucks. Why would you do it to another person? I mean, it's one thing if it's never happened to you. If it's never happened to you, it's still bad, but you can claim ignorance. But it happened to you, and then you turned around and did it to me. I mean, why the double standard, Chris? I mean, why is it okay to hack into my computer and destroy my files?
He is such a fucking child. It's unbelievable. Like, you can hear it at first when he thinks he has an out at the beginning. When Alex says, like, haven't you ever dealt with this, Chris? Chris sees it, says, oh, cool, now I can rant and rave and tell him how bad my situation is. And then he'll understand that I've had it hard by talking about how Clyde Cash stole all his shit and all that. But when Alec brings it up to him and it's like, yeah, it's a huge double standard, Chris. Chris has nothing to say about it. And you can hear him over the phone, basically, stomping his feet. You hear the fucking, the steam coming out of his ears. He's bright red. You can tell Chris is pissed off beyond belief because he doesn't have, the guy's basically not saying, you know what, Chris, you're 100% right, I'm 100% wrong. Chris is being questioned on this stuff, and to him, he just can't handle it because he doesn't have an answer for it. He knows he's in the wrong, but maybe he knows he's in the wrong. I think in Chris's mind, he thinks that this guy's still an absolute asshole, and everything he's saying, even though Chris doesn't have an answer for it, Chris shouldn't have to have an answer for it because this guy should just shut up and do what Chris says, and that should be the end of it. Chris doesn't want to have to answer for any of this shit. He doesn't want to have to play along here. He just wants what he wants, and he wants to hang up the phone, go about his day, and this guy can just fuck off for all he cares. It's only Chris's problems that matter.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and you gave me permission to call you, and I'm going to call you. Not
Chris, you're cutting out.
Because I have tried to explain to you as clearly as possible within my own best words I could come up with, and I'm getting tired of this long, drawn-out conversation out of this. But obviously, you're just too naive to understand. Think about it. Think long and hard. Read all my comment pages from books number 0 to the current page.
Well, those comment pages help me understand why you threatened me in videos and tried to and drew yourself breaking into my house and committing multiple felonies. That's what I'm asking an explanation for. I mean the ads and the naming issue. We've settled that. This is a new issue that I'm trying to talk it out with you.
Okay. Yeah. Well, you referenced these Sonichu in your book to be the one from Quickville, and then making him without my permission Asperchu's brother, and then without my permission you recreated the KI combo, and then reformatted their personalities in more ways than one without my permission, and then you go ahead and kill off with blood and gore detail. Then your recreation of the Flyer, the Grass, and the Fighter, or also known as Angelica, Wild, and Punchy. How do you think I feel about that? How would you like if I went into blood and gory detail of slicing and dicing Jonas Chu, that green one, Jiven, and Matt? I'm sorry, what?
Oh, I just said the green one is Peter Chu. That's his name.
Okay.
Yeah.
So in this part here, once again, Chris spurgs the fuck out because he wants Alec to understand this, that I can do whatever I want. I can break into your house. Everything that Chris does is justified because Alec wronged Chris in Chris's own mind. You took my characters that I don't really even own in the first place because they're just parodies of Sonic and all this shit. But, you using my characters in your own parody book, absolutely unacceptable. You changing up anything about the world I've created, absolutely unacceptable. Because the world Chris has created in his own mind is a real world, and it's hard to explain, but Chris feels like anybody who even touches it, even in their own works completely separate from Chris is fucking with that world, and Chris is not having it. So he's basically trying to use that and saying that, yeah, you did all this to my characters, and basically he can do whatever he wants to Alec, and that would make it okay because Alec in his mind has wronged him. And then Chris is bringing up, like it's mostly because if he would have went into blood and gory details, how would Alec have felt? And I do like at the end there though that I've been calling it out this whole fucking phone call that Chris has been asking Alec to change some of the names to like Michael and Bobby and how ridiculous that is. But maybe I'm ignorant because I didn't know that there was a Peter Chew already in Alec's comic. So maybe Chris is a point that Alec should keep the name structures all the same. Have Peter Chew and Bobby Chew and Michael Chew. It actually, when you put it that way, and there's already a Peter Chew, maybe Chris is right, because that would be a pretty dope Sonichu lineup. But also, at the beginning there, Chris is like, how don't you understand this? I'm explaining this to you so well. Where Chris has said basically nothing throughout this whole call that would make sense or explain that. But in Chris's mind, just him saying these things without any reason why he's saying them or any proof or evidence to back it up, he thinks that Alex should just be like, well, fuck, Chris said it, so I'm going to take him at his word, and that's that. And to Chris, he's so thrown off by that. Like, why the fuck don't you understand? I'm saying this stuff, just believe it. Everything, I own the copyright to Sonichu. You don't have to go talk to Nintendo about it. It's just, he's so fucking selfish with the way he thinks. But no, we're going to see a lot more of that throughout these calls. But today, ladies and gentlemen, I wanted to get a video out like this for y'all, but I got some shit I need to do, so we're going to cut it off here, but we'll be right back at it tomorrow with more of these, and I hope you guys enjoy what we've got so far, because, I sure as shit enjoy making these, because this is such a funny fucking phone call, and I hope you guys are laughing as much as I am, too, while watching this. So, I want to give shouts out to Sky, Vanessa, Krabby, your mom, Liz Vendor, Cody Hale, the Ghostbusters fan, Club Doom, Echo Spectre, Scaly Schisms, Mick Surly, Churlish, Isaiah, Akiba's Beat fan, Kaitan, Churlish, The Night Owl, Music Biz Marty's Bong, Isaiah, and our good old friend Wormman Bjornson. You guys are all goats, and whoever made it to the end of this video here, you're a goat as well. I say it in every video, but thank you guys for making it to the end, and I hope you enjoyed the video. And my friends, the weekend's only a few short days away, so you got that to look forward to. Labor Day weekend's coming up soon, probably the last big weekend of the summer, so go out, have a good time, go get some drinks, go meet up with your boys, go to the bar, just have a good time. If you're a girl, go meet up with your girls, go to the bar, have a good time, no matter what, no matter who you are, what you're doing next week, just, have a good time, my friends. It's that's what life's about. It's about having a good time, and that's really all that matters at the end of the day. So like I said, I'm going to get out of here, and I hope all you guys have a good, safe rest of your week, good, safe rest of your life. That's all that matters. And, just that and having a good time. So, yes, I'm going to get out of here. Stay safe, y'all, and I'll catch you on the next one. Take care.